Today, it is all business because this is the pre-match preview for match day 7 against Seattle Sounders, and everything is set up for another great night in San Diego. The warm weather is coming our way. We are coming off a massive win against LAFC. Oh, yeah, and Chucky was back on the field. So can our squad make it their second win at Snapdragon Stadium this Saturday at 7:30 p.m.? But before breaking any of that down, I just have, a quick announcement. I saw some videos circulating about the afters that happened against LAFC in the Snapdragon Stadium parking lot. There's videos circulating on Instagram. I saw some podcasters speaking about this, about, some fights that broke out after the game against LAFC. I was disappointed, obviously, in the fights. That's never a good look in the stadium and stuff like that. Fighting is unnecessary. Don't need to go to that level. We can talk good trash and still, at the end of the day, get along. So, to the LAFC fans that came through Snapdragon Stadium and held it down in a respectful way, talking your trash and not doing anything else, mad respect to y'all. Mad respect to all the good fans and great fans that were there at Snapdragon Stadium, because there was way more of them than there were of these little, squabbles that happen. But, I really want to call out those podcasters and those Instagram folk. Again, I know they're reacting just for views and things like that, but they were saying some stuff about San Diego and the people of San Diego I didn't quite like. Especially, they were, saying that it was the supporter groups that started these fights, and, it's, a bad look for San Diego. And, I just don't think that's right, to put all of us in a group when it's maybe just a couple of people doing that stuff. And it might have been LAFC people. It might have been San Diego folk that are not part of those supporter groups. So throwing shade on the supporters groups of San Diego, that's not right. And so if there's any, San Diego supporter group folk, out there, I appreciate y'all. I know y'all are doing great things out there. So, keep that up, and we can hopefully get rid of this fight stuff, and we can just continue to have, great times, because I have so much fun at San Diego FC games, tailgating, doing all that stuff, obviously enjoying the festivities. So I just want to make that quick announcement. I hope, people don't throw shade on San Diego like that, saying like we're all, doing that stuff, because, that ain't right. So if y'all hear that, man, just speak up about that, because I don't think it's right. Also, to those that were fighting, again, no need for none of that. No need for none of that. Let's talk our trash, have our fun, and let's get those W's, because that's what it's all about. So just wanted to mention that. But now it's about what are we going to do on match day 7 versus Seattle. And let me tell you this, it's going to be a little bit deceiving. So let me throw up some stats. They're 12th in the Western Conference out of 15 teams in the Western Conference. So they sit like at the bottom of the Western Conference. But before the season even started, a lot of national pundits thought that they'd be either first or second to finish in the Western Conference this year. So obviously the season hasn't started well for them, and they've been playing actually a lot of games. They played 7 total games in March, which is a tough task for any team. 7 games in March. That's almost 2 games a week. That is insane. So that probably took a toll on them. Last year, they finished 4th, and they went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. So obviously this team's got some talent. Obviously people think this team should be doing better than they are. So their standings and their record do not tell the entire story about them. So to write them off, I think, is incorrect. So looking at their goals against in the statistics and their goals for it, it's not bad. Many of their stats sit middle of the table, even though they sit points-wise at the bottom of the table. They're also really good at passing. They have a high passing accuracy, so they know what they're doing. But guess what? SDFC has the best passing accuracy percentage in the entire league. But for Seattle, in the majority of their games, they actually won the possession battle in most of their games. In a few of their games, they were up 60% to roughly 40% in the possession battle in those games. So again, we cannot be fooled and think like, oh, this is a whack team. They're 12th in the Western Conference. There is something to watch out for. So we need to dive deeper into this team. After watching their games, there is a lack of belief in the final third. I think that's one of their major problems. They brought in a really good youngster, Ferreira, as their striker, but he looks like he's kind of adjusting to being on the big stage, being a starter, because he hasn't quite produced yet. They also have Morris, and this dude has been a staple for the national team for a while. He's been a staple in the MLS for a while now, too. And even though his career is on the decline and kind of moving south, he's the leading scorer of that team. So I want to see, like, who starts. Do they put Morris up top and then maybe Ferreira on the right? They haven't really done that. Usually they either put Morris or Ferreira up top. So who are they going to put up top? It might be Morris just because he's produced more goals. But as of late, it's been Ferreira. So that's going to be something to watch out for when we watch this team. Another thing to watch out for, they have two really good individuals on the left side. Rothkook and Ronak on the left side. Ronak scores gold, left winger, and then the left midfielder. They play really, really well together. That left side is really, really dangerous. And then maybe if they can get one of their strikers to start scoring, hey, who knows? It is not as easy as it looks. And Seattle, they get their chances. They are number 2 in scoring attempts. But finishing those attempts is an absolutely different story. And again, I think it's more so a lack of confidence, a lack of rhythm, more than it is a lack of ability, players, and skill. And when you have players, abilities, and skill, you can put the ball in the back of the net. Just right now, it's not working out for them. Just as an example, last game, they had 26 shot attempts and 9 on goal versus San Jose. They really dominated that game, even though it ended in a 1-1 draw. Something to watch out for. Another thing to watch out for, when I was watching the LAFC game, they were absolutely in the zone. This is probably the team that many of the pundits thought would be showing up game in and game out, even though they have not been. But versus LAFC, a good team that played us really, really well, even when we had 10, or even though they had 10 men on the pitch, Seattle scored 5 goals against them. We have to watch out for this squad. It's not as easy as this looks. But the good news, they are 12th for a reason. The points don't lie. Watching their games, they are soft and a bit unorganized on the back line, on the defensive line. They play a 3-4-3, so that's 3 defenders in the back, which I'm not a big fan of that. I'm a 4 defensive person in the back, and sometimes even on FIFA, I'll play 5 in the back because I can push the wingers up quite a bit. But I like having a strong defense. Strong defense not only can help win games, but it wins championships. Everyone knows that. Also, they like winning the possession battle, as I've said. But what are we good at? We have been phenomenal at dominating possession, even when the other team is supposed to be phenomenal at controlling possession. So I think we can win that battle. And I think if we win that battle, that throws Seattle way off their game. That is something that Seattle does not want to have happen. They also have an open style of play. They like passing the ball around, and they push their midfielders really high up the pitch. When I was watching their game against San Jose, they almost had 5 to 6 players in the box at one time, which is kind of an insane amount. And a couple of their midfielders right at the top of their box. So that's almost like 8 players almost at the edge of the box or in the box, which is insane. But what does that mean for us? We're not only top of the league in passing accuracy, we're top of the league for long ball accuracy at 58.4%. That's 5% better than the second best team in the MLS. That is a lot. So you know we like passing the ball over the top. Y'all have been watching the games. Y'all know what Mikey Vadas wants to do. So if they like to push their players forward, and we are really good at long balls, I think that could be a problem for Seattle, and I think that is wonderful for us, and I think we can eat against Seattle, and I think we should. Also, they had problems shutting down the wingers when I was watching the tape, and what do we have in abundance? Even our bench wingers are really, really good. I'll take a Mighton. I'll take an Angel. I'll take a Chucky all day. I'll take a Dreer all day. So our wings can run on them, and we have to capitalize in those areas, and we have to capitalize with goals. I want to see our wings terrorize their back line, because when I was watching their back line, the back line really needs to move in unison. That's how you create a strong defensive line, and then you need to track runners. What I found out with Seattle, their line gets a little discombobulated. Some of their line pushes up while some of their line sometimes drops. That miscommunication means there's a lot of angles and space to pass into. Again, I think we can not only counter this team, but I think we can create a lot of false runs from our wing to open space, even if they do end up in a little bit of a shell, because their defense has not looked good this year. So the keys to winning this game, there are levels. We are better at possession. We score more goals than they do. We allow less goals than they do. We are better at passing than they are, not only passing accuracy, but long ball accuracy as well. And Seattle is not good on the road while we're undefeated at home. They've only gotten 1 point out of 3 road games, and that was their last game, and they scored their first road goal last game against San Jose. So we need to show them that they are not on our level. No matter what the pundits said in preseason, they not at our level. Next, we need to fly on the wings. I just finished speaking about that. We need our wings to terrorize their back line, their wing backs, their center backs. We just need to terrorize them and run. And I really want to see exactly what we did last game with the Mighton goal. Kind of going on the left, then passing middle to the right, stretching the defense out, moving the defense left to right so they don't know where we're coming from, and we can move the ball quickly because the ball moves faster than the person, and our wings need to give those Seattle defenders nightmares for the rest of the season. That's how much I want them to terrorize Seattle's back line. Lastly, win. This has to be a win. This is a winnable game, and we cannot for a moment think we won the game before going in it. Remember, Seattle beat LAFC 5-2. Don't fall for the trap. LAFC, when I was watching that game, they looked like they came out and thought they won the game before they played the game. They didn't have great effort. They weren't closing down the ball, and they allowed Seattle to get into a rhythm, get into a zone. Again, they have good players. Don't let them gain in confidence. So we need to come out with intensity and come in and dominate this game, make it a win. My prediction for this game, going against another attacking style team, I mean, they have a bad away record. They're lacking confidence. It has to be a win. So SDFC is winning this game 3-0 at Snapdragon Stadium. That is what's going to happen. And, you know, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be tailgating again because I love this tailgating culture. I love being out in the San Diego sun, playing a little street soccer. It is phenomenal. That brings joy to my life. And also, I just want to do some shout outs. A lot of people have been, you know, just supporting me and, you know, whether it's subscribing, liking, commenting, you know, I want to do a big shout out. Lynn, I don't know if you're watching. Lynn, I absolutely have loved talking soccer with you, especially the San Diego Wave side of things. Absolutely love it. Dimitri, seeing you at the game last time with your homie Max. That was absolutely awesome. Let's continue to talk. I need to bring you on this show ASAP. So we'll talk soon. But also, I have Christopher. Christopher, you be popping up in my comments all day, and you know your soccer. I absolutely love speaking with you because you bring a different perspective. You make me think differently, and I absolutely love talking soccer. This has absolutely been phenomenal. So thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Keep on reaching out. Keep on supporting our San Diego FC and our San Diego Wave FC squads because San Diego soccer is where it's at. I'm Mike Gio, the host of the Penalty Kick Podcast, and I'll see you for the post-match analysis after match day 7.